Nemesis. Nemesis, man. Resident Evil 3 has been out for about a week. A lot of people have asked me my thoughts, my opinions. Is it fantastic? And I wanted to wait to do this review, this little review, because I wanted to hear the general thoughts of Resident Evil 3 by the community, by the reviewers. IGN giving it a 9, other people giving it a 50 out of 100, 3 out of 5, 7 out of 10s, whatever. And I am a huge Resident Evil fan. I am one of those who really digest Resident Evil as far as lore, even though it's pretty much garbage as far as lore, but digest it in such a way where I know what I'm talking about when I discuss Resident Evil. I'm gonna backtrack to Resident Evil 2 Remake right quick, because that game was absolutely gorgeous. Not in just terms of graphics and gameplay, but it felt great. Now, there were obvious things I did not like about that game. I did not like that Claire and Leon's pretty much story was swap palettes back and forth between the two characters, with the exception of Ada Wong and Sherry Birkin in their respective gameplay. But the game did everything it needed to do. Mr. X was at the peak of great. Leon and Claire were done damn well. Their dynamics with each character, though of course Leon's dynamic with Sherry drastically cut down short, but Leon's interactions with Ada much better than the original Resi 2. Same thing with Leon and Claire and Sherry. Leon and Claire interaction was okay here. It could have been much better. And then just about a year and a half, 2 years later, we get Resident Evil 3. Everyone does not understand why I shit on Resident Evil 3, and me shitting on it in a way where it's not a shit game. I'm gonna say the positives of Resident Evil. The number one positive is the dynamic between Jill and Carlos. If there's anything in this game that is absolutely fantastic, it is the dynamic and the conversation and the interaction between Jill Valentine and Carlos Oliveira. It is just fantastic how they made Carlos into a much better character now than he was, a much more badass character than he was in the original, and just seeing the dynamic grow. The cutscene, absolutely gorgeous, fantastic. I mean, the best, it's probably the best the series has ever seen, and just presentation in terms of that are the best things about Resident Evil. But just like back in 1999 and 1998, Resident Evil 3 was beneath Resident Evil. And now, in 2020, it is beneath Resident Evil 2 again. But this time, because I believe Capcom screwed up big time. For no matter what this game is called, Resident Evil 3 Remake, Resident Evil 3, I will always call it Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. And Nemesis was the backbone of the original, and he should have been a backbone in the remake. And what happened, folks? What happened? Nemesis is a beast in cutscenes only. In terms of gameplay, you might as well look at Nemesis as a pussy. A pussy. And it's not all on him. Now, you'll have those in the community, oh, you need to play on the hardest difficulty. I shouldn't have to go to the hardest difficulty to have Nemesis the way he should be. If I'm playing on standard mode or hardcore mode starting off, it should be what I expect. Now, if I was playing assisted or something like that, I can see it. But why is Nemesis such a pussy in this game? Well, it's all about direction, presentation. Nemesis is not even really a threat in terms of gameplay. By the time you see him actually chasing you, you have, if you are a smart Resident Evil player, you should have both backpacks, plenty of shotgun ammo, plenty of grenades, hence the word grenades, and by that point, you have done the power plant and you're on your way back. Then you see Nemesis. He is not a factor. You've explored everything, you went back, unlocked everything, and you are basically done with that section. You're forced now to move on. Mr. X was a tank, a fucking tank. It took forever to put that man. Nemesis, one grenade, chuck. And no, clown, this isn't on assisted mode. I played on standard. And one grenade put him down? I mean, what? If one grenade took down Mr. X, it would have been the same result. He would have been a non-factor. You see Nemesis, you chuck a grenade, and then that's pretty much it. You get your weapon of choice. You know, not weapon of choice, sorry. You get his little loot, and literally can just go to the next section of the next set piece, and he is done. You don't see him unless you bullshit around. Now, yes, he does get up, but I mean, I didn't see him until the next set piece. Garbage. So let me get this straight. He busts through a wall. You can drop him with one grenade, pick up your loot, go all the way to the set piece without seeing him, by the way. I didn't see him ever again. Get to the set piece. He's still not there because he's relegated to set pieces again. And when you see him doing a little zombie head with his little tentacles on the zombie head, what do, folks? Toss another grenade, he goes down, you get your loot, and you run to the next set piece before you use Mr. Carlos. And done. Outside of another set piece with him using a rocket launcher, which I didn't know at the time that you can really fight him or was supposed to fight him, literally able to run away. No, you can drop him probably with another grenade and move on. And I probably missed a piece in there from him there, but one grenade. And it's not even a flush grenade. You could have thrown it and it passed him. He'll drop from impact. Folks, his ball fights are amazing. His boss fights are absolutely fantastic. But to me, the fact that he's supposed to be this pursuer and the fact that he drops with one grenade and is literally just at that point irrelevant, it honestly almost killed the entire game. It took me so long to even beat the game because of that. I just stopped playing it. I got to the hospital, gave Jill her vaccine. At that point, I was just like, you know what? I'm almost done with the game. It's only been 2.5 hours. My first playthrough. And you know what? I'm just gonna stop. Nemesis is a damn pussy in terms of the actual gameplay of him supposed to be chasing you down. He is worse than Mr. X. Now, there'll be some people who look at me and say, oh, but he gave me such a problem because I was exploring and he would come through the doors. Well, I guess you should have explored before all that. You legitimately could do, you're basically equipped to be a tank by the time you see him. You see him and he's already, you're just suited, booted, and ready to go. Where's my pursuer? Where's it supposed to be this unstoppable killing machine I was promised? Now in cutscenes, he's fantastic. In cutscenes, Nemesis looks like a beast. In gameplay, minus his boss fights. Set piece, chuck a grenade and just move on to your next set piece with no consequence. Just when you screw up the title character, you screw up the entirety of the game. I'm sorry. Resident Evil 3 it was good on its own, but Nemesis made it even better, and it still wasn't as good as Resident Evil 2. But when you mess up the title character in 2020, what do you expect to happen? A lot of promises was made by this game, and a lot of promises were unfulfilled. Raccoon City is literally 2 blocks. Point A, point. The demo is all of Raccoon City. Garbage. Clock Tower's in there as a boss fight, barely. No park. You do everything and literally just quick as shit. Again, Nemesis, a non-factor in all of this. Literally non-factor. And when you really boil it down to its just utmost essence, can you really say this is a 9? No. Now, I like the game. It plays well. Like I said, everything is fantastic, but I'm looking at these overwhelmingly positive reviews, some of the people, and I look at the smart guys who are giving it an average score of about a 6 or 7, and I have to agree with them. Now, my final score for this is a 7 out of 10 if I had to rank it, but what a way to fuck up the main act of the game. That being Nemesis. Nemesis is the main act. I don't give a shit what anyone says. Not Carlos, not Jill. It's Nemesis, and you screwed him up. This game makes him look like a step down from Mr. X, and I don't understand that. Sure, he can run, sure he has his tentacles, but again, when you can drop him one grenade and move on to your next set piece with no consequence as a non-factor, I mean, I look at him as weaker than Mr. X in this game. Presentation fucked Nemesis. Like I said, in cutscenes, he's an absolute beast. And, you know, if, you know, there are things they could have done to make this really be better. I could have forgiven the Raccoon City size. I could have forgiven certain things. And I would have maybe missed the park and stuff like that. But imagine when you leave to first go into town and Nemesis, just as soon as you come out, is already pursuing you. That would have made it better. Nemesis would have been the star. He's always the star of Resident Evil 3. Like he was on the title name in the first place. Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. He should have been the star. If he had appeared right then and there at the beginning when you finally step out of the thing with Carlos and you're really going out your own to restore power to your train, and he was pursuing you from then on out. Maybe he can disappear for a couple of set piece moments, but from then on out, why you had to explore, why you had to get lockpicks, why you had to backtrack and get your jewels for your backpacks and this and that then, and not die from one grenade. But even if it was one grenade, you didn't have a grenade then. So you will still be forced to deal with him pursuing you. Instead, you don't see him for about, depending on how you play, maybe 20 minutes. Depending, you might be extra exploring, about 30 minutes or so. And by the time you see him, you have everything. And by curiosity, you might throw a grenade. And when you notice that he drops from one grenade, not even a flush grenade, it can be fucking past him and the impact will hit him alone. You look like that, oh, you get your shit, you move on. Because you've already explored, you just move to the next set piece. Awful. That would have changed my whole perspective on Nemesis in this game. Instead, we got a pussy, a clown. I need to do that short review because it's been on my mind. I wanted to wait to hear the general consensus. By no means is this a bad game. This isn't a bad game, but it suffers from the lack of their title character, their main act, being reduced to nothing more but just a comedy show. Really. And I shouldn't have to go on Hell and Inferno mode and all these other modes to get the Nemesis I want. I should have the Nemesis I want from normal down. My final verdict is a 7 out of 10. Step down from Resident Evil 2. If you are a Resident Evil fan, and I'm talking about a fan that is a diehard, plays pretty much almost all of the canon games, then, you know, sure, $60. I didn't pay $60, but, you know, $60, sure. If you're not and you're a casual fan, wait for it to go on sale. It will be on sale within the next month or two. It's Capcom. Just understand that the expectations that were here will be seriously dropped to about here. And if you are a hardcore fan like I am, you will be disappointed by Nemesis not being who he should have been. And you will feel that Mr. X was a just much better done. I mean, Resident Evil 2 is a better game. This is Darkwave signing out with a quick, about 15 minutes review of Resident Evil 3. Take care, stay safe, and I will see you all on the podcast coming soon, probably later tonight, today or tomorrow. And stay frosty.
We have the mics for life to consume into my